In this video we are going to talk about some gold and mining companies, and especially some mining companies from Scandinavia, rare earth company in the United States. Let's just get right into it. Starting with the first company on the list is Gold Mining Inc. Well, this company has 12.4 million ounces of gold equivalent and 9.1 million gold equivalent throughout their projects. Obviously, that's not one project that throughout North America and Latin America, where specifically they have in Brazil and in Peru, and I think that's Peru. That's Peru and Canada, and they have apparently perhaps a strategic investment in Nutmeg Mountain in like more western United States, and one in like Whistler in Alaska. And the company also has some copper, or like 1.2 billion pounds. And the company, why would it matter? The founder of the company and co-chair is Amir Adnani, which is one of the new mining legends according to Rick Rule. He's also part of Uranium Energy Corp, which is a major uranium company in the United States. And the CEO of the company is Alistair Still, which used to work as former director at corporate development at Newmont, and is a geologist with over 25 years of experience. And he used to work with Goldcorp and Kinross, so they have experience management. And the fact that the company also has a lot of ownership in the in another company called US Gold Mining. They have 76% ownership. They have 12% ownership of Gold Royalty, and they have about $294 million in cash and equity holding. They also have a little bit in Nev Gold and Australian Mines Limited. So it seems very interesting. By the way, it's not producing, or probably several years before producing. It seems very interesting, and it's barely moved this year. It's barely moved, and it has several projects diversified, not only in one nation. So they have, as said, they have in Brazil, Peru, Canada, and apparently some strategic investments in the United States, specifically in the western part of the United States and in Alaska. So I think that will be it for that company. So let's go over to the next one on the list. Next one on the list is US Rare Earth Corp. Why do I mention this? Apparently they've had a tremendous correction, even though nothing's changed with the company. But the fact that they would be part of like both heavy rare earth, light rare earth, samarium, strip casting, and recycled oxide, they would have operations in Oklahoma, Texas, Connecticut, or like I think that's Connecticut. They would also have rare earth operations in Cheshire in the UK. By the way, they would be apparently producing the magnets in Oklahoma, and apparently in the future produce from their mine in Texas, in Sierra Blanca. And apparently the production would be 5,000 ton capacity, expandable up to 10,000 tons, which would commission first lane in Q1 2026, apparently at 600 tons, which is, it's literally a couple of months till they apparently would be able to start. They would be apparently focusing on, apparently they would be focusing on heavy rare earths such as dysprosium, terbium, light rare earth oxides like niobium, yttrium, samarium, scandium, one of few pure play metal alloy companies, independent from China. And why should you care though? In 2025, apparently the West, United States, and Europe have a 91,000 metric ton demand for rare earth metal or rare earth magnet. By 2035, that's increased to 195,000 tons, which is over double in 10 years, basically 9 years now. It's very interesting, doesn't it? And the fact that this company has had a tremendous correction, it seems very interesting. And the fact that they would be starting production in a couple of months, if everything goes according to plan, it seems very interesting. And the fact that they would apparently double production from like the product, like apparently now they're going to start at 1,200 tons per annum in 2026, and by 2027, 2028, they would apparently have increased it to 3,600 tons per annum and above. Seems very interesting. So now let's go over to the next one. By the way, none of this is financial advice, you know the drill. Starting with some Scandinavian mining stocks. By the way, these are usually, this is not financial advice. These are just some companies I find it very interesting at the current moment. First one will be Laiva Gold, which is not currently public. Why is this interesting? Because it is apparently going public in a couple of months, if everything goes according to plan. And they would apparently have a 6,000 ton per day gold processing facility where they would plan to produce between 50 and 80,000 tons, or where they plan to produce between 50 and 80,000 ounces of gold, and suspected all-in sustaining cost of $1,500. And they have apparently 2 million ounces of gold and measured and indicated a resource. This is in Finland, like somewhere in like the middle of why. And the fact that they would have apparently fully diluted after the finance. They apparently have 113 million outstanding shares, and apparently they would start producing in 2026 if everything goes according to plan. That is Edgemont Gold and Laiva. It seems very interesting though, and they have it seems to be the CEO has 35 years of experience in global mining sector, and he has raised over $1 billion in Canadian dollars in public and private entities over his stewardship throughout since he started, which is very nice. And the fact that it is in Finland, which is, it's nice to talk about something different than just America and Africa and Asia. Talking a little bit of Scandinavia. Too bad it wasn't in Norway though. But now let's go over to the next one, which will be Finex Metals. because why is this interesting? It's in northern Finland and it's in one of the more underexplored regions in Europe, and they own 100% of the project, and it's located in Lapland greenstone belt, which apparently has major deposits including Agnico Eagle's Illa mine and the RUBERT resource Ikari discovery. You have some heavy hitters there. 39% of the share structure is owned by insiders and managed 15% from strategic investors and 46% from retail investors. And it does make me happy though that a lot of the technical team is Finnish, if not all of them. I don't know if I'm going to say the names because, it would be hard for an American to pronounce these perhaps. Like Petri Peltone, Etu Jukela, these names. Those are the names of the technical team, by the way. But it's nice to see that a lot of the management team is Canadian, Finnish, or one British, which is nice. The CEO is actually Finnish. That's very nice. I like this because, I'm a Norwegian, but, I like Finns. It's nice for them to be included in. But why is this also interesting? It has excellent infrastructure, apparently, where they have transport network, roads, railroads, ports provide year-round access to the project. They also have, apparently, 5G on the project and reliable energy from, the power grid. And even a regional airport close, and even government support. Very interesting. And where they have their project is very close to Agnico Eagles, and it's also close to B2 Gold is also there, Kinross, Anglo American, RUBERT resources. There are several heavy hitters in the resource sector, in specifically gold sector, that is also in proximity to Finex metals in the central Lapland greenstone belt, which is very interesting. And now we're going to talk about the final Scandinavian company on this list, which has a resource, by the way. We're not only exploring for it, RUBERT Resources. And this company is very interesting. It has apparently a grade of 2.1 grams per ton, and where they have 4 million ounces of gold, both in the open pit, combined with both open pit and underground. And that's enormous. That's very high grade. And that's in resource, and in reserve they have 3.5 million ounces of gold at 2.1 grams. It's very interesting, and it is located in Finland, this too. And apparently they would apparently start in 2030, which is 4 or 5 years from now. But they also have power lines or infrastructure with power lines, and also they have a road network that goes right into or very close to where the mine would apparently be operational, according to this map I'm looking at, where they would have electricity, would have had water or treated water, access to road and electricity, which is very nice. And apparently they would have a 20-year life of the mine, 2.2 year payback time at $2,500, or 1.7 year payback time at $2,650 per ounce of gold. And apparently they would use over 200,000 ounces per year, and after the first 10 years would be 170,000 ounces of gold. Apparently at an all-in sustaining cost of under $1,000, which I don't know if that's going to be the case when they actually get started. But imagine if gold was at $5,000 per ounce, and this company would produce at, let's say, $1,000, $4,000 would be very nice in profit per ounce. That's the Scandinavian companies. Now let's go over to the final company, who currently does not have gold. It is exploring for it, but it's interesting because they have quarries or stone quarries apparently in Brazil, where they have a profitable bluestone quarry mine in Brazil, and apparently they are increasing or expanding from 1 to 3 operating quarries. That means that they will have some cash flow where they can explore in the Yukon area, if I remember correctly. In the heart of white gold Yukon territory, where they will apparently be looking for gold and copper. And they don't have gold and copper at this current moment, but the fact that they have a very tight share structure, where they now have 21 million shares outstanding, fully diluted, and the fact that 45% of the shares is owned by insiders, the fact that they have a cash generating business in Brazil, where they can, apparently extraction cost is $300 per square, or $300, and then the sale price $1,800, and the volume would be, I think if I remember correctly, they would make roughly in 2024 they made $900,000 in revenue. In 2025 it's projected to increase to 2 million, and then snowballs, it increases and increases. The fact that they are expanding production, which is nice. So imagine if this company were to find some gold in the Yukon. Very interesting though. So it's a high risk, high reward kind of thing. If they actually find gold, it could be a tremendous opportunity. But if they don't find anything, then basically a quarry company. Then I thought I would mention it. I misspelled Nibus. I don't care. Let's go over to the next.